Hello, my witches. I'm Luna, and Saturn is stationary right now, getting ready to go direct. And I have just had the devil's own time of trying to achieve something. Namely, this video, my computer just decided to throw an heroic fit over my cameras. So after much effort, here I am. Keep your fingers crossed. I am here for an unboxing, a deep dive test drive. How many more trends can we hashtag? And I don't even use hashtags. Anyway, oh my God, it had me in such a tizzy I had to medicate. So here I am, and I have it's called an oracle deck, but it's not an oracle deck. I've been very curious about this and the other one. This is called Cosma Visions Oracle, a set of cards to ease your soul. 78 card deck illustrated by James R. Eads from 2022. Now, there you have it. 78 card deck structured like the tarot. It's not an oracle deck. But that's only my opinion based on, what I just read. So let's look at the deck and see. This is the little bitty version, all right? This is the mini, because the regular size was $45 plus shipping, and I couldn't do it. So I got this one, and this was, I do believe, $20 plus shipping. To any rate, it's in a tin. And here is le booklet. Ce n'est pas un booklet. Okay. The Cosma Visions Oracle is a 78 card deck created by James R. Eads. This single page serves as the guide for little Cosma Visions, offering only a few keywords for each card, but enough to imbue your readings with meaning. If you are interested in more in-depth readings, the Big Visions book is a 400-page hardcover illustrated guide to the Visions universe. For more information, visit jamesreedsmerch.com. So there we had, and I have to say, this is a very sturdy feeling kind of paper. It's thick. It's got a nice satiny finish. It feels like it's going to hold up for a little while anyway. Okay. And we can see here that, so that's all we have as far as an introduction. That's nice. But so only on one side of the page do we have meanings for every one of those 78 cards. And we can see right away that the majors have been renamed, as have the suits. So, but we don't get any, oh, they're clever. Oh, they're deviously clever. We don't get any explanation about how or why the names have been changed, or the suits are embers, lotuses, birds, and trees. So that's pretty easy to sort out. Embers would be fire, lotuses, water, birds, air, and trees, earth. So we assume wands, cups, swords, and pentacles, but it completely reimagined tarot with nothing else to go on. So they're going to lead you, by the ring in your nose to that 400-page book, which I will certainly be looking up. One more thing before we hit the deck. Since it is so easy to see, let's do a little comparison of these, 3 keyword sets to what we already know about the traditional tarot. And then we can decide right there, is this really a tarot or an oracle? So 0 is death, great beginnings, second chances, restoration. 1, the crow, willpower, force of creation, manifestation. I'm not even going to say the names. 2, protective, good omen, clarity. 3, nurturing, peaceful, fusion of opposites. 4, structure, control, harshness. So we really do see keywords that fit with the traditional tarot, as far as I'm concerned. The 6 is called soulmates, partnership, duality, deep connection. Death. 13 is past lives, expansion, spirituality, awareness. So that's a little different. I mean, there are some differences, but it really does. There's an ace through 10 for each suit. And then we have the wanderer. Oh God. This is going to make it confusing as hell. I can't wait to see how these cards are marked, because each suit, you wouldn't believe the shit my brain has not been doing today. I did a thing where I went down to make my egg, and I do a little poached egg, and my husband comes into the kitchen, and I'm looking around on the counter. And I'm like, what did I do with that egg? I know I got an egg out of the fridge. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I saw you open the fridge. And so I go to the little pan, lift up the lid, and the egg is already in the pan. I put it in the pan. My brain was elsewhere. So welcome to my party. So at any rate, each of the suits has the ace through 10. And then the courts for each, because there are courts, are named something entirely different for each suit. Wanderer, shapeshifter, mystic, and protector is the embers. Composer, romantic, mender, and peacemaker for the lotuses. Weaver, fighter, dreamer, and elementalist is birds, and pathfinder, entertainer, geomancer, and commander is for the trees. But they really do sound like, the meanings for the regular quartz. So let's see. And that, we haven't even gotten to what attracted me to this deck. And the Prisma Visions is another 78 card deck by the same guy. And it has the same kind of artistic concept, which you will see here soon. But that one is called a tarot deck. And I do believe that things are named in a traditional manner. So this seems to be a renamed tarot, and that's why I went for this one rather than the Prisma, because I thought I would get something that's, farther afield and unique. So I hope you can't hear my stomach growling. It's one thing that's really great about a Yeti microphone is it has a very short range. Okay, so here is the back, and they are directional. There's a difference. You can tell that this is the eye right side up, and you can see the size of the cards. They're very small. And I haven't even said, the box has this velvety black inside. I like that. I like the tin. No surprises, but the deck has that nice black gilding. Look at that. Oh, obviously a perfectly cut deck. How satisfying is that? All right, so the backs, now we have the cards themselves. Death. So instead of Fool, it is called Death. How very interesting. And, considering the World card does have that meaning of completion, so there is kind of a death there, but it can also talk about new beginnings because you've come to completion or you've leveled up. So the 0 card is Death. The Crow instead of the Magician. All right. Swan. The artwork is kind of almost pointillist. It's certainly, this isn't going to work because I have my camera on fixed focus. Oh, well, sorry. Here's the swan. It's kind of, like I said, kind of a pointillist or impressionistic. Definitely you can see the brush strokes. It's very free flowing. And we do have the Roman numeral and the title of the card. 3 is the peacock. So birds so far. So this would be the equivalent of the Empress. And this would be the High Priestess. Do I see anything of the High Priestess there? Not in a million years. So is that why we're calling it an oracle? I am so confused. So there's the peacock. Here's the pelican. Shh, my stomach is just making terrible noises. So this would be the emperor. And I mean, there's that staff. That is a very slight illusion. And here's the phoenix for the Hierophant. How interesting. How interesting. So, you know, considering, I mean, there's symbolism in the fact that it's a phoenix. We all know what a phoenix symbolizes, right? Death, rebirth, transformation, leveling up, all of those. But as far as the image, there's really nothing. There's nothing that's going to jog me. All right, Phoenix, spirituality, new awakening, oneness. So spirituality certainly goes with the Hierophant, but then we have the new awakening, and that's what I can tie to the image of the Phoenix. So rather than, you know, death and rebirth, it's this new, just a new awakening of what's there. And oneness, okay. Then we have soulmates. And that's a very nice image. Swooshy, swirly, rich colors, the spirit plane. I like the geometrics. Sacred geometry is one of those things that I've always been fascinated by, but never really had the, you know, the energy to really dive into. Although astrology is sacred geometry. The orbs. So this, is this strength or is this justice? The orbs, bravery, strength, success. So right there it says, but how? Again, clever boots drive me straight to buy that book. The cosmic tree. I wish, though, I could get just a little sample other than a paragraph to give me a taste of his writing. Okay, the cosmic tree is the hermit, or the hermit is the cosmic tree. Here's the Wheel of Fortune life map. That's pretty fascinating, too. There's all kinds of, oh, I see, I recognize Mercury. I'm looking for like planetary symbols. They're very subtle. You can find them, but it's, wow. And now, so karma is justice. Yes. That wasn't clicking because my brain is what it is today. Here is sacrifice for the hanged man. And you see these hands, so it looks like letting go. That hand looks like it's, you know, see-through, invisible, going invisible, and this isn't. So it's like letting something go, offering it back to spirit. Wow. Now that said a mouthful. Here's the death card, past lives. Look at the ancestors. Yeah, I like that. Here's the maze. Wow. So that's temperance, the maze. And the devil is the vessel. Okay. The maze says compromise, balance, expectations. The vessel says complexities, gluttony, materialism. The vessel. So I guess something that needs to be filled. I can connect that. Very interesting. The shore. So the tower is the shore. And I mean, you see these kind of bolts falling down, flaming bolts. So that reminds me of the tower. But I'm having to kind of find things that remind me. The only way I know is because of the number. And here's the veil. So there's the star. And the star is the veil. The bridge is the moon. Infinite paths is the sun. Then we have the unknown for judgment. How fascinating. And life on earth. Oh, I do love that image. Life on earth. Okay, I decided to back out some, but not all the way. So you can see what's coming up here, which I haven't looked at yet, but hopefully you can see them close enough. Okay. Because these cards together, there's the Ace of Embers. Here's the Two of Embers. So remember, Two of Wands we're thinking here, but check this out. This is what just attracted me so much. And see, I don't know. There's the 2, there's the 3. Four. Oops. The 5. And see, I think, yeah, I don't have room to go the whole way. Let's see how many I can do. 7. 8. And if I back up, I won't have enough room. So I'm just going to leave it like this, and we'll do 9 and 10 down here when we get to them. All right. So, looky. It makes a whole picture. And yes, I took myself out so I have more room, but it makes a whole picture. Isn't that freaking fascinating? So we start with the Ace over here, and I'm looking at, okay, that's 2 of Wands, but there's people dancing in a circle. It looks like the 3 of Cups to me, right? But then when I added the 3, look at how we have, all right, here's people together, moving together. And then this one's starting to take off. Something's caught fire and this one's taking off. The 3 of Wands can talk about actually launching a project, and the 2 is planning. But to me, I don't really get the meaning for the 2, pardon me, until I see it followed by the 3. Then I can sort of relate it. Now, to the book, to the paper. It's so weird not being visible. All right. The 2 says planning, making decisions, leaving home, but they look like they're dancing. And the 3 says looking ahead, expansion, rapid growth. Okay, looking ahead, but it looks like they're pulling this way. It's kind of confusing. Now, the 4 of Wands, 4 of Embers, community home celebration. Okay, that kind of tracks, except we don't see any people in there. And then the 5 would be conflict, destruction, struggle. So, we've got this fire and these people dancing, and then we got lightning, and lightning starts destroying. And then what happens here? Familiarity, happy endings, healing. Really? How do we get that? I mean, that would be the victory card in the standard tarot. How do we get that? That we've got victory, minor success, appreciation. Oh, did I read the wrong thing there? Yes, I read the wrong thing. The page flipped itself a little bit. So 6 of Embers here. Yes, victory. But how do we get victory here? It's like, have the trees burnt down? How do we get victory? 7, defensive, self-preservation, maintaining control. So defensive, I guess, there's the defense, but boy, does that remind me more of the 8 of Swords. And then the 9, rapid action, movement, quick decisions. No, that's the 8 here. forward movement, finish line, final push. But they're just sort of falling. Then the 9 is the rapid action movement and quick decisions, kaboom. And then the 10, resilience, grit, last stand. Really, really, really interesting. Oh, and I'm seeing now here that the quartz are separate. And that's confusing as hell because all they have is the name on them. They don't have a reference to the suit, except maybe I'm looking at the fire there. You know, I can see the fire. Okay. I want to see if this continues the picture at all, and it doesn't. Do these do a picture? They do. Okay. So to me, it's really an invitation to take these quartz totally by themselves because they're making their own picture here. And that picture, yeah, it doesn't seem to connect with the other ones. But it does connect with the rest of the quartz. Holy shit. All right, I'm going to put these back here. Okay. So, see you with the next one. All right. These are the lotuses. Here's the Ace of Lotuses. That definitely harkens to the Ace of Cups, does it not? With the beautiful colors flowing down. Then we have the 2. And I'm not going to spend time now fussing and going to the paper to see. I'm just going to lay these out so we can look at them, and then we're going to test drive it. There's the 3. You can see a relationship there. There's 3 people back there dancing or doing something in a circle. There's the 4. And we just see 4 lotuses. So I'm now noticing there's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do have maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5 lotuses, but there's only 4 showing. So never mind. Here's the 6, which shows 1. The 7. The 8. The 9. Okay, let's do this. And the 10. All right. So we've got this beautiful pond and a bridge and a little gazebo at, sunset maybe. Oh, there's the moon, nighttime. Look at the swirly skies. It really is beautiful imagery. And then we're coming up here, but look, there's this thing spilling. Or is that the river going? I mean, it's definitely rolling this way, right? Downhill? Is it getting ready to flood? 4 lotuses. There's a boat look at, things are getting washed away. So lost there, I can see that. The 6, I see dolphin fins. And then we're underwater. The lotus is underwater. So I really like this because, the mythology of the lotus and also the biology of the lotus is it grows in black mud under the water, and then it comes up through that dark water out of black mud to be this absolutely glorious thing. So I'm glad that we're seeing down in there little frogs, and there's a whale, and then we're kind of coming out of water on the other side. And ta-da, sun comes up. Wow. And the pictures are beautiful. That alone just makes my little heart go pitter-pat. And here are the birds. 2. No blindfolds, but he's hauling some heavy stones. So here we've got a definitely Arctic, very far north, snow. So we can see some directions associated with them. I mean, embers would probably be south for sure. Lotus definitely had that east vibe. This would be north, southeast, and that would mean that no, wait, maybe lotuses are west. All right. Oh, looky, we have airplanes. Whoops. Yikes. Look at the tornado. Okay, I'm going to put you down here too. 9 and 10. So this is hitting me very personally because tornado has been such a symbol for me my entire life. Oh, sorry, those were a little low. My one biggest recurring nightmare throughout my life has been tornadoes. I rarely get them anymore, but they used to be frequent and terrifying. So to have a tornado in there is really rings my bell. Okay, so sorry, I'll quit fucking around with him here. We got this ace of birds, and then just something's being shot. Look at the birds are shot and falling. So that's very interesting for the 3 of birds, which is 3 of swords. Look at that. We certainly see birds pierced through the heart. We've got the 4, the 5, the 6, and they're like fighting over eggs or defending. And look, we got airplanes on the 6. That's very interesting. And then the 7 is like a V of geese. Here comes the tornado. And the 9, is she shooting at the tornado? Is she the one that shot these birds down? I don't know. I'm confused. It's a big cliff here. And then a cliff on the other side. And look at look at the 10. Vultures. I mean, there's certainly something here. And I'm sitting here making all my usual faces and stuff, not even thinking that my face isn't even on this screen. And it is fucking with me. So I'm going to put myself down in the corner. Okay. I feel invisible. And it wasn't any fun. All right. So here's the last. These are the trees. There's the ace and the 2. And I will say, too, that the numbers are spelled out here, 3 of trees. So it's the courts. They've made the courts even more pesky than normal. Okay. 8. The 8 just seems to continue almost the 7. And here's 9 and 10. 8. So, the 2 of trees, we see 2 little sprouts here. Just sprouts. And then we have the 3, they're growing. The 4, they're in full leaf, and now there's a house and a tractor here. So people have come in, and look at the beautiful flowers. And I like the way it shows different times of day. There's sunrise and there's the sun going up and down. So much to look at. I'm going to have to, when it's just me, get these out again and lay them out just to look and see what I notice, because this big picture thing is incredible. So this is the journey of the trees. Here's the 6. Look at the road and the water crossing with the bridge. Fascinating. Now there's kind of is that a bigger house or a bigger barn? And here's the 7. Now look at all these little, is this like the town and the market? And then the buildings get bigger. It just shows growth. And then here's the 9, everything at the top. Look at that. We're so happy. And then the 10 builds into something that looks like the tower. How frickin' fascinating. All right, let's get to these fucking courts. All right. Please, okay. I'm just going to shut up and try not to be prejudicial here. But here's the embers. And as you see, these cards are pretty thick, you guys. I'm not looking forward to trying to shuffle them. All right. So there's the fire, the wanderer, the shapeshifter, the mystic, and the Protector. Oh, my stomach. I really hope you can't hear that. Okay, the images link, but to really see a story here, I don't. It would take a long time. There's the Weaver. So now we're into the birds. The Weaver, the Fighter. These are in a different order. Yeah, these are in a different order. So when I looked at the second one, I thought, oh, those are supposed to be lotuses, but that looks like fire or whatever. This is actually birds. So that's snow and ice we're seeing. So we have the Weaver, the Fighter, the Dreamer, and the Elementalist. Wow. Then so this is Lotus. You can see all the water. We have the Composer, the Romantic, the Mender, and the Peacemaker. There's a lot in these images, and I'm not going there right now but look at how the Composer and the Romantic are in the same boat together. He's like, almost looks like he's got a conductor's baton in his hand, and there's a woman at the other end of the boat, the Romantic, the Composer. Maybe he's reciting poetry to her. How interesting. The Mender and the Peacemaker. Then we have the Pathfinder, the Entertainer, the Geomancer, and the Commander. The titles are so descriptive. There goes my stomach again. So, hoo-wee. What an interesting slice that this deck is. And I'm glad that I got this one rather than the Tarot, because, like I said, this is, I think, giving me something farther afield than that one would have. And I don't see, in that tiny, tiny little one side of a piece of paper book, nothing about reverses there's no information whatsoever. So let's give it a blessing. They do slide against each other, that's a good thing, because woo-wee. Just those images, it gives each card in each suit a context. And from Wade Smith deck on out, there's always people writing about how the suits have a story that progresses through, and sometimes there is, and sometimes there isn't. But this one really does. All right, by air and fire. May you be purified and charged. You certainly have engaged my mind and inspired me, and almost pissed me off a little bit too, but I'm prone to that. I have a Sun-Mars square. All right. And by water and earth, may you be blessed and made whole. I always have to close my water because I know what will happen if I don't. By the sound of the bell, may all my negativity be removed, and may the spirit awaken within you, guides and guardians, allies and ancestors. Wow, help me. And thank you to James R. Eads, the author, for something so very different and imaginative. And I offer you fresh water. I offer you the fire of Azrael. And here we go. This is not going to shuffle just because they're so small. Look how thick versus how long the deck is. And yeah, then, it's just not ever going to work. But let me see if I can do it with halves, with little quarter decks. Even that, it can be done, but I think you're going to end up bending your cards out of shape because they have that cardboardy, that cardboardy thickness to them. All right, so we're just going to shuffle the crap out of them. Cut shuffling. Let's see what happened here. Did it? Yeah, some of them are bent after one riffle shuffle. So we're not going to do that again. All right. Now, we're just going to go kind of free form. Although I do want to do them in triplets because I think we could get a very interesting story with the minors together. So I'm going to do a 10 card, 3 by 3 with one at the end. Okay. What message do you have for us today? Spirit, what message that wants to use the voice of this deck? What message for the collective today that will be evergreen for whenever anybody's watching it, they find something useful in it? All right, they're telling me stop. Let's see how much of a shuffle we actually got. And if we didn't, then I will do a split and pull. 14, 13. Okay, those are side by sides. 12. Yeah, all right. I need to split and pull. So I'm going to take the 9 of lotuses. That is the 9 of cups. We're talking here then about happiness. About happiness and what constitutes our happiness, and whether our happiness is true joy or is it smugness. All right. Last, they're a delight to cut shuffle. I got to say that, but you got to get them actually shuffled first. Okay. So what can you tell us about this journey of happiness? We have death. We have, this is the one that wants to come. We have the orbs. So that is the Fool and Strength. It's going to be hard. I mean, why would I stay away from the traditional tarot meanings when the keywords we have in the book are those traditional meanings? But, and we have 7 of Embers. We have 7 of Lotuses. How interesting. The Swan. I'm looking. All right, these 3 fell out in a chunk, so I'm going to take them. And we have the 3 of Birds, the 5 of Embers, and the Ace of Embers. I'm going to push them together just to see. We didn't get any quartz. And I would like some quartz, but let's just see the story that we get here. So 9 of Lotuses, Death, and the Orbs. Certainly, when I've talked about our happiness, it's like our old happiness, our old avenues of happiness that may be gone now, that may have died, but that leaves us open to new avenues of happiness. So, but the focus here, see, that fucks with my head, man, having the Fool called death. It really does. Because the Fool always carries that connotation of, starting from nothing, out of nothing. And death is like before the nothing. Or is death the nothing? Very interesting. At any rate, we have looking at how our old sources of happiness, our own paths to happiness, our old paths to happiness may have radically changed, and so they're beginning again. And the orbs, what's the orbs? The orbs, having the orbs to do something, or the orbs being the eyes. There's just these little floating orbs. So I am forced to go to what I know about the Strength card. So it's the strength to get through when we feel like our happiness has vanished, and we have to approach this with resiliency, with strength and resiliency, the will to get through. 7 of Embers, 7 of Wands. Okay, defense. We build up a defense and dive deep. So the 7 of Embers, let's just go here. defensive self-preservation. God, that's been coming up a lot. Maintaining control. So we redefine our happiness. We let our old ideas of it die, and then we look at what's there to come. But we set up our defenses so that we keep ourselves safe, and so that we can go deep down. Here's the Seven of Lotuses, so we can go down to a safe, protected place. This really feels sheltery to me. Seven of Lotuses is searching for purpose, choices, daydreaming. So we can go down and search for a purpose. God, if you were on the live stream this past week, which was November 1st, 2023, same message is coming up, so that we can go deep and define our purpose. And then the swan here is the high priestess. So yes, time to go spiritually very deep. This is Samhain season in the Northern Hemisphere. Perfect time to do that. Any time of year is the perfect time to do that if you're hurting at a deep level. If you've had things change at a deep level, like your fundamental, what has traditionally made you happy, or your old ideas of what happiness is and can be, and who deserves it, and all that. Three of swans, three of birds, five of embers. Let's read those. Heartbreak, suffering, grief, conflict, destruction, struggle. Yeah, you think? Creation, willpower, inspiration. So we're getting ourselves defended here and going and really defining our purpose on a very high level, a fundamental level, but also on a very spiritual level, because we have all of this unsettlement and heartbreak and grief and conflict that the entire world is going through. And we're looking at how can we start anew. So we really need to consult with ourselves and say, creation, willpower, inspiration. What can I do with what I have now? Just because everything around you has changed, and yes, it is a loss, and yes, you have to grieve that, doesn't mean that you now have nothing. So the redefining of loss, death, into potential. Woo, okay. Two of Lotuses. I'd really like one of the courts, please. Ten of embers. Can I have a court? Eight of embers. Nine of birds. The phoenix. Okay, I want. And let's see what the first court is to come up. The peacemaker. Oh, man. The peacemaker. And I guess the Two of Lotuses here would be my 10th card, because I didn't take my 10th card, did I? No, I did not. So the Two of Lotuses is unity, partnership, and connection. So that's where we go with this. We want a new start. We have to do it through unity. This is absolutely repeating the messages from November 1st. Holy mackerel. And then the peacemaker for the first, and that would be lotuses, yes. But it's hard to tell, what level these are. Maybe they're all on the same level. Diplomatic, tolerant, sympathetic. So this is the king. And let's look at those. So the four courts for the lotuses for water are the composer, playful, harmonious, and energetic. That would be the page. The romantic, following the heart, idealistic, romantic. That's the knight. The mender is the queen, compassion, calm, comfort. And the peacemaker, diplomatic, tolerant, sympathetic. So they track. They totally track. It's just really difficult. You're just going to have to memorize. If you want to relate these to the standard courts, you're just going to have to memorize what's what here. So very fascinating. So we're being called here. Let's look at this overall. We are being called to be peacemakers. And where does that start? Deep inside. It starts way down. It takes us, look at this Nine of Lotuses. So there's the wish card, the joy overflowing. But where is it flowing down to? It's flowing down into the deep. So we keep our boundaries up around us. We open to the intuitive, that deep well of collective knowledge. And what we find there is the grief. I mean, I'm looking at the levels here, the grief and the conflict and the struggle that we're all going through dealing with this grief, the struggles of the world, the struggles of the collective. It's humanity struggling as a collective towards understanding of justice and equity and equality and in a true sense, and peace in a true sense. And what we're learning is that we've got to overthrow these systems that are based in power over. And the Two of Lotus is here. It's in relationships. So even though it's the collective, we need to relate to each other, person to person, human to human. You know, Israeli to Palestinian, Jew to Muslim, Christian to pagan, vice versa. Christian, but beyond religion. Buddhism knows. Buddhism knows they don't care what religion you are. Ah, Lordy. And so we are called to be peacemakers. That is our purpose. What a fascinating deck. Like I said, I think I'm going to go and put it in order right now so that I can look at those big pictures all the way across. It's fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And of course, now I want the Prisma Visions as well, because that one does pictures. And I want to see how they're different, how they're the same. I am immediately going to go look for this book, see how much it is, probably buy it. Evil, just evil. Let me know what you think. Do you have this? Do you use it? What do you think? I will see you next time on a live or a, one of these here things. Unboxing, deep dive, test drive thing. Until then, this is Luna. Hold on. Blessed be.